Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another Basketball Wives review, so let's just get right into it. So at the very beginning of this episode, Jennifer is telling Brandi about a conversation that she had with Jackie after Jackie decided to walk away from the group dinner in last week's episode because the drama with Chantel came up again. So Jen tells Brandi that she was trying to convince Jackie to have a conversation with Chantel, and Jackie said that if she does decide to have a conversation with Chantel, maybe she'll do it on her podcast or on her YouTube channel. And I was kind of confused by Brandi and Jennifer's reaction to hearing this. Like, they were making it seem like it was disgusting that Jackie was trying to get paid and basically make her drama with her daughter out to be entertainment. And I was confused by this because isn't that what's happening right now? Like, this situation between Jackie and Chantel is playing out on a national television show that everybody is getting paid to be a part of, all because of the drama with Jackie and Chantel. Because let's be clear, that seems to be the only storyline this season is Jackie and Chantel's issues. And Chantel is the one who brought her issues with her mother onto the show. So, I mean, she's basically getting paid to drag her mother. So I was just trying to figure out what the difference was. And I'm not making excuses for Jackie. I can understand if Chantel never came on the show and said anything about Jackie and this wasn't playing out on Basketball Wives, and then Jackie ended up saying that that's the only way she would have a conversation with her daughter, then I would be looking at Jackie sideways. But they're already making entertainment out of this situation because it's playing out on Basketball Wives. Now, everybody splits up into two separate groups to do some different activities, and Brandi, Evelyn, Ty, and Chantel end up going to the water. And at one point, Brandi ends up pulling Evelyn to the side, and she tells Evelyn that Jennifer told her that when she had a conversation with Jackie, Jackie said that the only way that she would have a conversation with Chantel is on her YouTube channel or on her talk show. And Evelyn was making it seem like that was the most disgusting thing in the world to do to her daughter. And I was confused by that as well because Evelyn has a podcast, and her daughter Shanice has been a guest on her podcast numerous amounts of times, and she's been on Evelyn's podcast telling some of her business on there. So I was confused as to why Evelyn's making it seem like it would be different with Jackie and Chantel. I mean, I'm aware that Evelyn and her daughter have a completely different relationship than Jackie has with Chantel, but still, it would still be your daughter going onto your podcast to tell her personal business on there for other people to listen to and for you to get paid while it's being done. So I was just a little bit confused as to why Evelyn was making it a bigger deal than what it needed to be. I mean, we all know that Chantel is never going to go on Jackie's YouTube channel or her talk show to talk about any of this situation, so I don't understand why they were talking about it like it's actually going to end up happening, because we know Chantel is not going to do it. But Evelyn ends up pulling Chantel to the side because she wants to have a one-on-one conversation with her to clear the air between the two of them, because Denise basically told Chantel and Brittany that Evelyn called her up trying to fish for information about Chantel. And so obviously Chantel and Brittany had an issue with this, and they said they didn't want to be cool with Evelyn anymore. So Evelyn wants to make sure that her and Chantel are cool. And Chantel immediately forgives Evelyn and basically says that she's cool and the beef between the two of them is squashed. And that was crazy to me that she was willing to have a private, calm conversation with Evelyn. When she wants to talk to her mom, she wants to do it in front of everybody in the group. I feel like she should be able to have a private conversation with her mother too, and not in front of everybody, because it's very clear that Chantel is capable of doing that. Evelyn just has to be messy, so she ends up telling Chantel that Jennifer had a conversation with Jackie, and Jackie said that the only way that she would have a conversation with Chantel about this whole situation between the two of them is if it's done on her YouTube channel or her talk show. And Chantel was really upset about it. She was going off a little bit, and she decided to leave the beach early and go to Jennifer and ask her if that was true that Jackie actually said that. You know, production did end up showing the clip of the conversation between Jennifer and Jackie, where Jackie said that the reason why she keeps walking away from conversations with Chantel is because Chantel wants to do it in front of everybody and make a circus out of their family drama. And she said that she wasn't going to give everybody a show, and that's the reason why she doesn't want to do it in front of everybody. And she did say that if she does decide to have a conversation with Chantel, maybe she'll do it on her talk show or on her YouTube channel. Now, Jackie could just be trying to profit off of this drama with her daughter, but at the same time, she could also be trying to do it on her own terms so that, you know, at least the money's going to her family and not to everybody else. Because, I mean, who really benefits from Jackie and Chantel going back and forth, dragging each other on Basketball Wives? The only people that benefit from that are the people on the show that don't like Jackie and they want to see her family tarnished, because Jackie tries to paint this perfect image of her life and they want to see that torn down. And then also production and the network ends up, you know, benefiting from that. But Jackie and her family doesn't. And I just don't think that people get that. I mean, I personally don't think that they should be talking about this on this show. I don't think they should be talking about this on anybody's YouTube channel or podcast or talk show. I think they need to go to therapy separately and then as a family, because I don't feel like this this should be playing out on the show. Honestly, this is draining to watch and review these episodes of Basketball Wives because it's just too much. Now, later that night, everybody ends up getting together for dinner, and once Jackie shows up, everybody starts acting awkward. They're not really saying too much to her because obviously they feel some type of way about Jackie because of everything they've heard from Chantel. But before they get into the Jackie and Chantel drama, they end up addressing Denise because Ming points out and Evelyn points out as well that Denise acts differently when Brittany and Chantel are around. Like, she's a completely different person and she's actually cool when they're not around. But then when she gets around Chantel and Brittany, she starts acting differently and nobody wants to really be around her. And I mean, I feel like Denise is messy. I don't really like her this season. I feel like she's inserting herself too far into people's drama. And I feel like, you know, she tries to sit back quiet like she's innocent, but then behind the scenes, she's doing all this messy stuff because we never actually get to see the clips of her being messy. We just end up hearing about it when everybody gets together. So I was glad that Ming and Evelyn pointed out that Denise acts differently depending on who she's around. But then Chantel ends up showing up to the dinner and it gets really awkward because everybody knows that there's tension between her and Jackie and everybody's just waiting for Chantel to start going off again. Ming starts giving her opinion on Jackie because she feels like Jackie should not be running from conversations with Chantel. She feels like Jackie won't take accountability for her actions. And that because, you know, Chantel has told her side of the story to everybody within the group, everybody is able to quickly take Chantel's side. I really don't feel like there's a side to take in this situation because it's none of our business. We honestly don't know what happened when Chantel was growing up. We don't know how Jackie was as a mother. We don't know how Chantel was as a daughter. This situation shouldn't even be being discussed on this show. It should be being discussed in therapy or between the two of them or all of them as a family, because I don't understand why there's this drama between Jackie and her children and Doug's nowhere around to step in. Because if she really did have this traumatic childhood and Jackie was a terrible mother but Doug wasn't a bad father and he was around, why didn't he make sure that this wasn't happening? Why wasn't he making sure that his children weren't in a toxic situation? Because if he was there and he didn't do anything about it, then why doesn't she have the same smoke for her father that she has for her mother? And I'm just confused about that. And this isn't to excuse any of Jackie's behavior, but if you have a problem with your mother for being toxic, why don't you have an issue with your father? Because if he was there and he saw it, why wasn't he stopping it? I really don't understand why Ming was trying so hard to push Jackie to have a conversation with Chantel. She said 100 times that she does not want to have this conversation with Chantel in front of everybody in the group, and I don't understand why Chantel is hell-bent on having this conversation with Jackie in front of the group. It seems more like she wants to show Jackie in a negative light in front of all of these women rather than really trying to work out whatever issues that she has with her mother. It doesn't seem like she wants to work out whatever issues she has with her mother and really have a conversation so they can hear each other out. It seems like she just wants to drag her mother in front of these women to make her mom look bad, and Jackie doesn't need help looking bad because she's done numerous things throughout these seasons of this show to make herself look bad, so she really doesn't need the help. I mean, every season Jackie gets dragged by everybody. So Chantel starts kind of coming at Jackie again, and Jackie decides to get up and walk away. And as she's walking away, Chantel calls Jackie a cornball, and then Jackie calls Chantel a fool. And then that's when Brittany gets involved and she starts going at Jackie, calling her a deadbeat, making a song about it. And Chantel's just sitting there allowing this to happen. I'm not saying that Chantel has to like her mother. She does not have to. But sitting there and allowing somebody who claims they're your friend to disrespect your mother right in front of your face is crazy. There's one thing to have your back and support you when you're going through this situation with your mother, and there's another thing where you're disrespecting the person's mother. Like, this doesn't make Chantel look good, and it doesn't make people really have any sympathy for her, because honestly, Brittany is projecting her issues that she has with her mother on Jackie, and that's exactly what she's been doing. That's why she's so passionate about it, and she shouldn't be doing that because Jackie's not her mother, and she wasn't the one who put Brittany through whatever her mother put her through. And I just feel like even if Brittany does have issues with her mother, if Brittany's mother was sitting at that table and Brittany and her mother were having an argument and Chantel jumped in and started calling Brittany's mother names, I feel like Brittany would shut that down immediately, because she's not going to allow somebody else to disrespect her mom, even if she's going at it with her mother. And that's what makes me look at Chantel sideways, because why are you letting other women that you're supposedly supposed to be friends with disrespect your mom? Like, you're going at it with your mother. That doesn't mean they need to get involved and start calling your mother names too. That's weird. Now, Brandi and Ty get up from dinner and they go to Jackie's room to try to have a conversation with her, and Jackie basically kicks them out. She says that she doesn't want to have a conversation with Chantel in front of all the ladies and that they can leave her room. So she kicks them out of her room. She doesn't want to deal with it at all. And as soon as Ty and Brandi go back to the table, Brittany immediately starts questioning, Brandi as to why she went up to Jackie's room. And Brandi ends up saying to Brittany, let me explain. And then Brittany gets annoyed at that and she tells Brandi, okay, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. I don't understand where Brittany's energy was coming from, but it was really weird. I don't feel like Brandi said anything wrong. She just said, let me explain to you why I went up to her room. She didn't say that you were stupid and that's why she was trying to explain it. So I really didn't understand where Brittany was going with that. And then Brittany ends up calling Brandi out of her name. Like she calls Brandi a bitch, and I didn't understand where that came from because Brandi didn't deserve that. She really didn't do anything in that moment to be called out of her name, so I just didn't understand why Brittany thought that was okay. And I like that Brandi checked Brittany because Brittany needed to be checked a little bit, but then Brandi got in her confessional and she said something that I've been saying these last few reviews that I've done on this show, is that Brittany is projecting her mommy issues on Jackie. That's exactly what she's doing. And that's probably why Jackie said that, you know, Chantel is being manipulated, because she has all these people in her ear egging her on to beef with her mother instead of trying to get them to resolve it. But I didn't like how the ladies acted after Jackie left the table, because they started talking about the next activity they were going to do the next day, and Ming said that she planned an activity for all of them to go on a boat, and she basically said that everybody's on Chantel's side, so everybody voted to basically not invite Jackie. And I didn't think that that was right, because that's weird. Like, what are you trying to do, get her daughter to replace her? I honestly feel like Jackie should just leave the show. Honestly, she really doesn't need the show. I just feel like she should just leave, because it's obvious to me that production doesn't really like Jackie. That's why they're allowing all of this to go on every single season, where Jackie's being dragged and her family's being dragged into things. They don't do that to any other cast member on the show except for Jackie at this point, so I don't understand why she stays. It's very clear that none of the ladies on this show really like her. I just feel like she should leave the show. But the next morning, Ty actually ends up going up to Jackie's room to visit her, and she invites her on the boat ride that everybody voted for Jackie not to be on, including Chantel. And Ty said that the reason why she did that is because it didn't sit right with her for them to disinvite Jackie, knowing that they invited her on the trip. What was the point of inviting Jackie on the trip if you were going to exclude her from activities? Ty did ask Jackie why she's always leaving every time the conversation comes up of her and Chantel, and she said that she wasn't going to make a spectacle of her family in front of everybody on TV, and that's the reason why she walks away. And Ty seemed to really respect that, and I actually like Ty this season. Like, she really grew on me because she seems to be the more mature one in the group, and she seems to not allow people to dictate what she does and who she talks to, whereas everybody else kind of goes with what everybody else is saying, and she kind of stands on her own a little bit, and I love that about Ty this season. But what's funny is that on the way to the boat ride, there was Ming, Evelyn, and Brandi, and they were talking about Brittany calling Brandi a bitch at the dinner the previous night. And Evelyn says that she doesn't understand how, you know, Brittany is saying that she's on this spiritual journey and she's Muslim, but yet she's calling people out of their names and doing really messy things. And, you know, a lot of people feel that way when it comes to Brittany, but when Jackie said it in Vegas, everybody made it seem like she says something terrible, when really, apparently, it seems like they all think the same thing. But they all end up showing up for the boat ride, and when Jackie shows up, everybody's energy changes. Nobody seems to be happy, and nobody's saying anything to her except for Ty and Jennifer, and it was really awkward to watch. I mean, they started questioning Ty pretty heavily as soon as they got on the boat. Chantel and Ming kept questioning her as to why she invited Jackie, and she reiterated that she doesn't think it's right to invite Jackie on a trip to Hawaii, but then exclude her from activities that they're doing, because she feels like then there was no point in inviting her on the trip. And I completely agree with Ty, and I'm glad that she stood by what she decided to do and didn't let these women get in her head. On the boat, Jennifer actually pulls Jackie to the side, and she ends up asking her once again why she won't have a conversation with Chantel. And Jackie said that the reason why she won't have a conversation with Chantel is because things keep getting too hostile and she doesn't want to say something that she can't take back. And you know what? I do get that, because sometimes I have to pick my battles too. When it's somebody I really care about and we're arguing with each other, at some point I have to walk away from it or just be quiet, because I don't want to say something that's really bad and I can't take back, and then this relationship can't be recovered anymore. So I understand what she meant by that. Part of me feels like she doesn't want to have a conversation with Chantel because she doesn't want her family's dirty laundry to be aired out on national television, which I can understand that too, because who would want that? Chantel does end up having a one-on-one conversation with Ty, and she starts telling Ty that she needs to be careful about the company that she keeps because Jackie will use her up and violate her. And Ty said that she can say the same thing about a lot of the other women in the group as well. And I love that Ty said that, because everybody paints Jackie out to be a monster, like she hasn't done the same thing that every other woman woman on this show has done. I mean, Jackie can definitely be over the top and she can get messy, but so can every other woman on this show. I feel like if you're going to hold her accountable for her behavior on the show, then all the women on the show need to be held accountable for the same things that they've done. And I love that Ty pointed out that Chantel's not as different from Jackie as she thinks that she is. She called her bossy and she said that basically Chantel's a little Jackie, and I can see that too. Chantel kind of acts like Jackie a little bit, but she doesn't want to admit that. Like, it seems like Chantel is manipulative. Like, she's saying Jackie's manipulative, and that could be true, but Chantel seems to be manipulative too, because it seems like she's trying to manipulate everybody to be on her side and see things the way that she wants it to be seen. She doesn't want people to question anything. She just wants people to blindly take her side on everything. When really, in my opinion, there's no side to take in this situation. This situation is sad, and I feel like it shouldn't be playing out on TV. Ty definitely kept clocking Chantel, though, because Chantel got upset because when they got to dinner, they said that after dinner they were going to go up to one of the rooms and have a slumber party with Jackie, basically. And Chantel seemed to have an issue with that, and she started saying that there's still a lot of issues that need to be addressed, and yet everybody's going to get together for a slumber party and act like nothing ever happened. And I like that Ty jumped in and said that that's what they've been doing anyway. Everybody has issues with each other, not just with Jackie, and everybody's been coexisting despite that. And I love that she said it, because Chantel's just trying to make everything about Jackie, like other people in the group don't have issues with each other too. But here's where things get messy, okay? Because Chantel was really in, Ty and Ming's business during this dinner, and I don't understand why they didn't check her for it, because Ming said that she had an issue with Jackie getting involved in her business with Ty, but Chantel was all in their business throughout this dinner, okay? Because they started talking about how it's weird that Ty and Ming don't know what they want to do with each other. One minute they want to be together, and the next minute they want to be single. And that's when Ty ends up blurting out that Ming is not actually single, she has a boyfriend. And Ming started trying to say she doesn't have a boyfriend, but she's seeing somebody. And Ty points out that Ming lied to all the women on the show, because she says she had a boyfriend, then she told them that she didn't really have a boyfriend. She just lied because she wanted Ty to leave her alone, but she actually does have a boyfriend. And when Ming tells Ty to prove it, Ty points out a tattoo that Ming has on her arm. That's the name of the man that she's been seeing. I do think that Ty and Ming are toxic, but it seems like Ming really does like to play games. Like, she likes to push and pull. She likes the idea of somebody wanting her and chasing after her, and she likes the fact that she holds the keys to be able to decide if that's going to happen or not. So I don't think she wants to be with Ty, but I think she likes the fact that Ty will chase her a little bit, and I think she enjoys that. But then Brandi decides that she's going to address Brittany, and she ends up asking Brittany why she's so quiet, and Brittany has an attitude. She seems to be in a really bad mood. So Brandi ends up asking Brittany why she thinks it's okay to be on a spiritual journey, but then call her out of her name. And Brittany starts saying that God is still working on her, and I don't like when people use that as an excuse for their disgusting behavior, because any other time you want to act like you're the beacon of light and you just want everybody to be a good person, and then all of a sudden when you want to crash out, you get to call people any name that you want to, and it's excused just because you want to say God's working on you. So I don't like that she used that as an excuse. So then Ming ends up getting involved, and she asks Brittany if she's going to apologize to Brandi because she thought it was wrong that she called Brandi a bitch for no reason. And Brittany says no, and honestly I respect the fact that she said no. I respect the fact that she called her a bitch and she's standing on it and she's not giving a fake apology, because I'd rather somebody not apologize to me at all than give me an apology that they don't actually mean. So I do respect the fact that she said no, but when she said no, it seemed to really irritate, Ming, and that's when Denise ends up getting involved because she feels like it's 2 against 1, which I understand her getting involved because she feels like it's 2 people talking at her friend, so she wanted to even the playing field. However, Denise is messy. And the funny thing about it is that as soon as Denise gets involved in the conversation, that's when Evelyn immediately jumps in and she starts going at Denise, calling her out, telling her that she's messy and she's stirring the pot, trying to be messy and stir up a bunch of drama. Evelyn was telling Denise that all of them are tired of her, and I just thought it was so funny because you can tell that Evelyn has been waiting to come at Denise like this, and she was just waiting for the perfect moment to do it. Like, you could see the irritation all over Evelyn's face. And Ming ends up calling out Chantel, Brittany, and Denise, and she basically says that most of them don't think for themselves. Like, when one of them says something, they all just jump in to agree. And Chantel immediately jumps in and she starts asking Ming if she sticks up for her friends. And Ming says that she does defend her friends and have their backs, but she also has a mind of her own and can think for herself. And she pointed out that it seems like when it comes to Brittany, Chantel, and Denise, they all think the same and they don't have a mind of their own. And so she ends up asking Denise and Chantel Chantel if they could at least agree that Brittany was wrong for calling Brandi out of her name. And when they didn't say anything, she decided to get up and walk away from the table because she was annoyed about it, and she walked away. And honestly, I would have walked away too. Like, I'm not a fan of Ming, but I definitely liked her at this dinner table because she was holding people accountable that needed to be held accountable. Like, she was calling out the things that needed to be called out. And I feel like even if they're cool with Brittany, they can still tell her she was wrong. Because if that was Jackie that called one of them a bitch, Chantel and Denise would have quickly jumped up and called Jackie every name in the book and told her how wrong she was for calling somebody out of their name for no reason. I did find it funny, though, that only Denise jumped in to defend Brittany when Ming and Brandi were talking at her, and Chantel just sat there and didn't say anything. It seems like Chantel isn't a real friend, and she likes when Brittany and Denise ride for her, but she doesn't defend any of them because she just sat there and didn't do anything. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Basketball Wives LA. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.